This video is to show you how to make a double chain space cable. This cable stitch is used in the Stonehill cable scarf, which comes out of the Canyon River cable scarf pattern set. Now this has changed though. The name of this particular cable that is used in my cable patterns has been changed to a quad chain 2 loop cable. And quad because it's going to have 4 cable strands total. Now most of my patterns with that have cable stitches contain a chain 2 loop stitch. That stitch is basically 2 single crochets and 2 chains. So it would be single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, all in one space. Now I just started this off, and this video is not to show you how to make the entire scarf. It's just to show you how to make this particular cable stitch. Now normally you will have a series of double crochet stitches and my chain 2 loops. So for example, here we have a chain 2 loop, 2 double crochets, a chain 2 loop, 2 double crochets, and a chain 2 loop. The cable is going to use these first 2 strands, these first 2 double crochets, these last 2 double crochets, as well as the chain 2 loop in the middle. So now you have to bear with me because I don't have a tripod yet. I'm kind of balancing on tomato cans. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a chain 2 loop in the first chain 2 loop stitch. And what you do is insert the hook under the first 2 chains. So 1. Okay, there's our first chain 2 loop, and that's just basically a starting stitch. That could be anything in the pattern. It could be a half double crochet, it could be a double crochet, it could be, as it is right now, a chain 2 loop. Now we're going to go in and make our cable. So the first thing that we're going to do, oh, and also these could be already post stitches as well. They could be a back post double crochet, or as I'm starting off with double crochets. So I'm going to go over twice because we're going to start off with the front post treble crochet. We're going to skip these first 2 double crochets. We're going to skip this chain 2 loop, and then we're going to work around the post of this next stitch. Now this could be a double crochet, and this could be a front post or back post double crochet. So but the basic thing is you want to work around the post. So we're going to work our front post treble. As you can see, that's what it looks like. And then we're going to work around the post of the next one. Just like that. So now as you see, these stitches here are skipped, and we have these 2. Now what we're going to do is, working behind these 2 that I just made, we're going to make a chain 2 loop in the center of this other chain 2 loop. So I'm going to reach my hook behind, just like that. See? Reach into that chain 2 loop and work a chain 2 loop. So see, it kind of is behind it, and here's our first 2. Now, working over these first 2 trebles that we made, front post treble crochets, we're going to work a front post treble crochet around this first post, and then the second skipped post. It's going to go around like that. And we're going to you always want to reach right to left. If you're right-handed, you always want to insert your hook right to left. So as you see, we're going to go around the first post. One, 2, 3. So we run around the first post. Now if you look through here, you see that second one, he's still unworked, or she. So go around there. Now we're going to go right, hopefully you can see this, I'm trying to show and look at the screen at the same time. Go around that. Okay, we inserted a hook from right to left around the post. Take off 2, take off 2, take off 2. Now it doesn't really look like much yet, but as you can see, once we kind of clean it up and pull it out, we have our first 2 front post triple crochets that were made over here. Then we have our chain 2 loop there, and then our last 2. You can see how they're starting to overlap each other. Now in this sample right over here, I have a chain 2 loop. So I'm just going to work a chain 2 loop. Now, this particular, I'm going to turn, chain 1 and turn, and here's what the back looks like. And we're going to work a chain 2 loop in the first chain 2 loop. That. Now, what we want to do is work a back post because we're going to have our cables on this front side, so we want to work a back post around each of the front post treble crochets. So we can look for the next one, because you can see here's the stitch, go around, and we're going to insert our hook to make a back post. That's what it looks like on the underside. So basically, the last front post treble crochet that you made is going to be the first one that you make a back post around. So we're going to go like that, back post, and then we're going to make a back post around the next. Oop, we got a little knot. I should have worked this out before this. Oops, sorry. Hopefully I can edit that out. Okay, so we made our first 2 back double crochets. Next we're going to make a chain 2 loop in our chain 2 loop. And then we're going to work a back post double crochet around the next 2 front post trebles. So around like that. Kind of see how 1, 2. And then we're going to work a chain 2 loop in our last chain 2 loop. Okay. Alright, then we're going to turn around, oops, chain 1 and then turn. And as you see, look at this lovely, lovely cable that's starting. So next, we're going to again work a chain 2 loop in our first chain 2 loop. Now, depending on the pattern, sometimes I might work, actually, let me see what we have in this. What we're going to do is we're going to front post now around each of the back post double crochets. I know it looks like a front post because we're on the opposite side, but we're going to work a front post, see that? Then work a chain 2 loop in our chain 2, space, and work another front post, like that. Then work a chain 2 loop in our last chain 2 loop. Chain 1 and turn. Then we're going to work again, back post around each post stitch, and then a chain 2 loop in each chain 2 loop. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. This is kind of hard because I have the video camera right in front of me, and I have it balancing on tomato sauce cans, so sorry if you're not really seeing this part real clear, but I'm assuming that you already know how to do it because we did it once before. Okay, that. So this is what the underside looks like. Now we're going to do our cables again. Chain 1 and turn. We're going to make a chain 2 loop in our first chain 2 loop. Now we're going to work the cable. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to skip these first 2 front post treble crochets. We're going to skip the chain 2 loop, and then we're going to work around. We're going to make a front post treble crochet around the next post stitch, and then another one around the next post stitch. So go around twice. You always want to insert your hook from right to left around the post stitch. So that. 2, 3. And then we're going to work again around the next one. 1, 2, 3. Some more yarn. Okay. Now working behind these 2 front post treble crochets you just made, I'm going to reach behind. Okay, we're going to work into that. If you lift this up, you see that chain 2 loop down there? We're going to work. We're working behind the post stitches. So 1, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. See, that was done behind. Now we're going to work a front post treble crochet around the first skipped post stitch, and then a front post treble crochet around the second skipped post stitch. So always from right to left around the post. Take off 2, take off 2. Now, sometimes that second skip post stitch can be kind of buried, but if you kind of just pull things apart, you can see it. It's right there. So I'm going to go over twice around the post. See, I went right to left. Take off 2, take off 2, take off 2. Then chain 2 loop in your last chain 2 loop. And then we just continue on. And that's it.